So this bumper's been painted, and it's been recently painted, and the paint job is fine, but things happen, and there's some spots in the paint that I really don't want to coat over without addressing those, at least by hand. And what I plan on doing there is just kind of hitting it a little bit with my hand with Jescar heavy cut compound. Not going at it crazy aggressive because it doesn't need it. There's just some imperfections in the paint that I would like to at least minimize before I coat over it. And actually, I'll just kind of pull you in and show you those now of what we've got. I think this will show up on camera. So if you look here, that's pretty gnarly. I want to see if we can minimize that before we coat over that. So we've got that I want to take care of. There is an odd spot right there. It almost looks like three fingers. We've got that, and if you look on the bottom side, come on camera, focus. All right, there are some, let's see, those vertical scratches right there, and just some abrasions and almost look like spider webs. And then there's another spot. Let's see if we can find it. You can see that spot. And there's some rub marks right there. I believe those were the most significant places. I felt like there was a spot that I was missing. See if we can do something with this area as well. So, all right, let's put this back. This is a very expensive, high-tech tripod that this camera's sitting on. And what I mean by that, it's a 6-foot aluminum ladder that's older than I am, that is not level. So, but it mainly gets the job done for the most part. All right. So let's see what we can do with some of these spots by hand. Not necessarily looking for perfection here, but because if I tried to take the machine to it and used a DA or Rupes or a Griot's machine or whatever with the bumper off of the vehicle, honestly, I'd be afraid that I would break something. I mean, it's plastic. There's nothing to, it's not bolted to anything. So I just really don't feel good about using a polisher on it, but it's not connected to the car. So we're just going to do this by hand. See if we can get some better results. before we coat it. And like I said, these imperfections aren't bad at all. It's just a few things. Spend a few minutes before we take the time to coat it and see if we can get at least a portion of the imperfections out of the paint before we put ceramic on top of it. And I'm sure that's something else the customer will appreciate. I know he will. He's a good friend of mine, and he keeps coming back to us, so we can't be doing that bad of a job. There's no real science to doing what I'm doing. I typically do small, tight circles when trying to remove imperfections by hand, and maybe some back and forth motions as well. I think I'm getting a cold. I feel like I'm talking through my nose. Apparently need to order some more Jessicar. I'm a little low. This is the biggest one I'm hoping that I can make look a little better. This one's pretty noticeable, and it's right on the front of the bumper. So hopefully we can at least take the edge off of this one. It's hard to see for sure until you wipe it away, but I feel like it is improved. All right. So that spot, and then, I don't know about these. I don't know if it's fingerprints or not. Sure does look like fingerprints, but if it is fingerprints and it was something that was touched while the paint was curing, what I'm trying to do is not going to make any difference, but it's worth a try. I don't know. We'll see in a minute. So, all right, we've got a smudge, or is that another spot? That's a smudge. Okay. Got this section. See if we can do something with. Try to avoid the trim when you do this. Don't do what I do and get it on there. Get it off pretty quick. It's not a big deal. That come right off, but try and just keep compound and polish on the paint. I feel like I need a steadier table because I don't know what it looks like on camera, but this thing's moving back and forth like a good 6 inches. Got the heat on in this shop. I don't think I need it anymore. I'm used to 0 degrees a few days ago. For those, if anybody's watching this that's not a Tennessean, we had some pretty nasty weather, or temperatures at least, the last few days. So I think it's like 40 something degrees outside right now. Just a heat wave compared to 3 degrees. Here's a little extra tip. So a lot of microfibers are double-sided. You've got one side with a higher pile microfiber. In other words, you can see the fibers that are standing off of the microfiber or the towel itself. The other side is much more, it's just smoother. You don't have the standing fibers. Use the side with the standing fibers when you do something like this by hand, because it tends to get in there and remove more defects rather than the smoother side. Just a tip that I've found out that seems to help. So this stuff does not require cure time. If you're wondering why I'm doing all this, I'm not wiping it off immediately. It's fairly forgiving. You don't have to just jump right on it, get it off. But I thought I'd just do all the spots first and then go behind it, clean up everything. All right. And I don't know that it necessarily matters when removing. I personally think when you remove polish or compounds or all-in-ones or waxes or whatever, use the opposite side of the towel, the smoother side. No wrong way to do it necessarily, but it just seems to be what works for me or what I've tried. There's still a pretty noticeable spot in that corner. I think it's actually a little deeper than what I thought, but it does seem to be improved. I'm anxious to see if the spot looks better. Oh yeah, definitely still there, but definitely improved, especially for 5-10 minutes of by hand. And again, most people, I'm looking at this from an angle that I'm going to see it easily. When it's on the car, somebody's going to have to be right up on it and really eye level with the front of the bumper to be able to notice it. So, was it necessary to do this before we coated it? No. But if it can be improved a little bit, at least, why not? As for the smudge marks, they're better. They are better. All right. And we had this section be removed. And this little section right here. That definitely looks better. All right. So I've already prepped this, but specifically, I want to prep it again with the spots that I just used the Jescar on. Jescar doesn't have, or this version of Jescar doesn't have any fillers or additives or gloss enhancers or none of that stuff in there, which is all great and fine as long as you're not ceramic coating your car. Because if you are ceramic coating it and it does have that stuff in there, you may have some bonding issues. So just for good measure, we're just gonna, and this is CMX. This is This is a good product. Mother's CMX surface spray. Nope, surface prep. I'll get it right in a minute. Removes waxes, oils, polishing residue, and fillers. Silicone free. So, this bumper, you honestly probably just could have done a quick wipe down with isopropyl alcohol, which would have been fine, before coating, but this will, I don't know, just make me feel a little better before I put any ceramic coating on top. And before I started the camera, I washed my hands thoroughly before doing this, which I know sounds kind of weird, but try and minimize the oil on your hands if you've got residue on your hands, because when you flip the towel over and you touch the towel, um, you could transfer some of that to the paint before you coat it. I mean, it really wouldn't be a bad idea to wear gloves during the prep stage. Not a have to thing, but probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And with this prep spray and a lot of others, you want to make sure it's off and it's dry before you coat it, because any kind of wet surface and ceramic coating is not going to play nice. So you definitely want to make sure it's dry. Honestly, I'm still not happy with this spot. It is improved, but like I said, I'm a little hesitant to take a machine to it with it just flopping around on the table. Okay. Get rid of all my rags that's laying around. I don't mix them up with fresh one. Like I said, customer wants our 2-year ceramic. You know, you try and record video without any interruptions, and Alexa's telling me that she's not connected to the internet. Apparently, just because I said Alexa, it's saying it again. Okay, back to the bumper. So let's take a look at what we did. And if you remember, section where the light was, there was some vertical swirling and imperfections. They're still there, but it's not really picking up on camera. So it is lessened. Now let's go to this spot. All right, remember those two gnarly scratches that were there? You can still see, all right, still see that one right there. It's definitely less noticeable. The larger one, actually, that was right in here, that one's gone, or pretty well gone. The fingerprints, they're there, but it's better. Let's go over to this section. In this corner right here, we've still got some abrasions that just didn't want to seem to come out by hand, but this section was definitely worse, and this section right here was for sure worse. There was a fair amount of scratches and swirls right there. So, all right, improved. Now, let's coat this. Good gosh, 26 minutes and 34 seconds already. I said this was going to be a short video. You know, most of you guys, girls, probably already given up hope on me. All right. For the sake of keeping this video under 30 minutes, because I probably lost most people now, I'm going to coat this. You know, to do this, you know, it's going to take, I don't know, 30 minutes or something like that if I take my time. I'm not going to bore you with 30 more minutes of that. Clean applicator, our 2-year ceramic. I wonder if that's right in the center. Pretty close. Our 2-year ceramic coating. So I will, you know, load up the pad for the first pass. I will do small sections at a time. This stuff will rainbow or flash in 30 to 45 seconds. I'll get a clean microfiber towel, wipe it off, move on to the next section. And then after I do the whole front bumper cover, I'll go over it with another microfiber towel, make sure there's no high spots, and then we'll let this thing cure for 24 hours, and then it can be exposed to rain or the elements. I always tell the customer, don't wash it for 3 or 4 days. You can wash it before that, but just it's kind of like spray paint. When you spray paint something, it's dry to the touch within a few minutes, but it doesn't fully cure until so many hours. Sort of the same thing with this. It's dry within 24 hours and it's cured, but you really don't need to handle it a whole lot or wash it until a couple of days. So kind of the same principle. So we will go ahead and ceramic coat this, wipe it down, let it cure. Customer can pick it up and be ready to go on the car.